Hi, everyone. Welcome to Classics You Slept Through. This is the podcast where we read old books and then get to discuss them. And today, we are going to discuss an old book. I'm your host, Kyle Davis, along with a girl who has never chained herself to any man at any point with a physical chain. At least I hope not. My sister, Meredith. How's it going today, Mare?
It's good, but you should be careful with those intros if you don't know the answer.
I was thinking, as I was going through my head, I was like, this could go south very quickly.
Oh, but no. Accurate. No chains, no bondage. It's fine.
All right. Well, we have reached the end of Edgar Rice Burroughs' A Princess of Mars, book we've been reading here for the past month. And what a conclusion. This is a good one.
It was so good. It was so fun. I mean, and good is subjective, but it was so fun to read.
It's a little off the wall. I remember the first time I read this, I got quite taken aback at the turn that it takes, but we'll get to that. So we are finishing up with chapters 24 through 28, the end of the book here.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of 23, John was departing on an air speeder, sort of escaping. And at the start of 24, he took some fire, got shot down, and he's going down. And he fortuitously lands in this middle of this gigantic battle. Thark on Warhoon, it's Green Men madness. And he lands next to Tartarus.
How fortuitous.
How amazing that he was able to do this. And he opportune time as well for Tartarus, who does not see him. I don't know how old Tars misses an air scout like crashing to the ground, literally right next to him. But John comes up behind Tars. There's 3 Warhoons bearing in on him. Our Martian anthropologist, John Carter, recognizes the difference in their metal, knows it's the Warhoons he's fighting, and battles them off and helps rescue Tars's life.
Yeah, but in a really comical turn of events, Tartarus just like, oops, trips over a dead body. And John Carter sees his chance to help him and kills one person, and then Tartarus can regain his footing. And then I wonder how closely... if this is in the movie, how closely Disney did it, like, whoops, I tripped and fell. Save me, John Carter.
Yeah, they do own Star Wars now, so the ending battle in episode 1, this is basically, Tartarus is like a buff Jar Jar Binks at this point.
Oh,
very
God.
tall as well.
When we were teenagers, you used to tell me I look like Jar Jar Binks.
Did I?
I think you did, because you...
Is it the floppy ears? I think that's what it is. Teenagers, that movie came out while I was in college. What are
I was a teenager.
About? Oh, you were a teenager.
I guess we were never teenagers together, were we? 13.
No, not at all. I left home when you were 12. So not
at all. By the time I was 13, you were 20.
Exactly.
So you acted like a teenager then?
Did I? I still act like a teenager.
Maybe it was Mom. Actually, maybe it was Mom that called me Jar Jar Binks because of this face.
That's very... So again, if you're on our YouTube or our Twitch, that was very Jar Jar Binks. You will have to go check it out. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can see Mare's Jar Jar face.
That's how we get subscribers.
It is. It's the content people want. So with that, John saves Tars's life, and he discovers friendship. John's one act. Suddenly, Tartarus knows the meaning of friendship, destroying thousands of years of green Martian culture in a moment.
Yeah, I think I have learned there is such a thing as friendship, my friend. He said no more. Nor is there opportunity. This is the middle of a battle.
You gotta get back to it. I was just very confused by this because this entire book we've presented the Green Martians as this noble race of warriors, and are there no bonds of any kind of loyalty between warriors that Tars Tarkas literally says, never has another ever done this for me, meaning basically saved his neck in a battle. So if you're fighting in a battle and you look over, whatever, he's gonna get killed.
Yeah, I'll just let our side get killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you're not friends.
Right. I guess we lost. I don't know.
Well, if anybody was going to do it, it's Tars Tarkas, because he's been set up from the beginning. John Carter noticed the glimmer in his eye of feeling way back in the beginning of the book. So he is the one and only one to...
It's definitely a different Thark.
Yeah.
So after the battle, we finish this giant battle between the Warhoons and the Tharks, and we return to Thark, and if you didn't know he was gone, now you do. Woola shows up again.
Yay!
He's there. So Tars says, hey, Woola came back to your apartments, John. He's been waiting for you. Okay, I guess Woola's in this story still. Terrific.
Aww, Woola.
Yeah. Then Tars goes away, and as a former military guy, I really appreciated this, that post-battle, they immediately go into an after-action review hot wash of how they did. There's a council. Tars Tarkas has to go away because it's the custom after battle you have a council. So I can feel that, Tars. Like that's touched me in a special place. So afterwards, Tars comes back and he says, "Hey John, Talhages knows you're here because when you were falling from the sky and rescuing me in the middle of this battle, Sarkoja noticed it.
Of course. She's so lurky. She's lurking right everywhere.
Nobody else noticed John Carter falling from the sky and recognizing him. This small red Martian who suddenly is battling along their sides, but Sarkoja did.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow Tars Tarkas thought he could hide John. I don't know how. But this prompts John to finally reveal to Tars Tarkas the story of his daughter Sola, which we all have known for some chapters. And Tars is pretty upset. And so they go to see Sarkoja.
This is like my favorite part of this chapter. I love this part.
Yes. They go to Sarkoja, and I got to appreciate Tars doesn't get angry. He doesn't kill her. This dude's got some cold calculation to him. He just mentions to her, hey, by the way, one of the warriors knows what you did, and he heard that you did it. And so, I wouldn't be here in the morning kind of thing.
Yeah. He might not kill you. It's not our custom. It's because,
I can't kill a woman.
But there's nothing to prevent him from tying one end of a strap about your neck and the other to a wild thoat, merely to test your fitness to survive.
See if you can keep bearing eggs for us, because you got to be strong to do that. She goes off to the river Is and is never heard from again.
Yeah, that's her. He gives her the either or. He's like, I could tie your neck, or this warrior could tie your neck to a thoat, or you could just commit suicide. Just walk off to Is, and she does.
Go on.
That's it. These wild, fighting, brutal, nothing. She's just like, okay, cool.
Got it.
Yep, got it.
I am curious. So I have not read many. So I've read 1.5 books past this. I'm just wondering if Burroughs forgets about this and Sarkoja, his great villain, shows up again and he forgets.
That'd be awesome.
Her. I don't know. He literally says in this book she's never heard from again. So
yeah, I don't believe you, Burroughs. Don't believe you at all.
Probably not. I did not look it up, but I'd be curious to see if she comes back. So then they go and to see Talhages because he wants John. He knows John's there. He's like, bring me John Carter. And he's says, chain this guy up. And John, I thought this was pretty slick though. He's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm a chieftain of the Tharks. Let me speak.
Mm-hmm.
And Talhages says, no, silence him. I don't want to hear it. And out of the blue, coming deep downtown for 3, our boy Lorcas Thomas is like, wait a minute. John's right. We have honor here. This is not the Tharkian way. He's a jet among the Tharks. Let him speak. So I appreciated Lorcas Tommel just sort of popping up again. as the number 2 Jed.
And I appreciate how John Carter gets at him in this. He's like, even a midget. Like, I felt him. This guy is not, this guy's nobody.
He wasn't fighting.
No.
He was doing the battle.
Like, where'd that come from? Like, Burroughs just, no mention of like, Talha just like runs away or is a coward. It's just like he didn't write him into the battle, and now he's got this great opportunity to get a dig in his side. He's like, you know what? Which I thought at first I was like, ooh, yeah, clever. But wait, why would he not? Why would he not fight? Yeah.
Yeah, we've never been told that he's a cowardly Thark or he became Jedak somehow.
I mean, we were told he was like the most horrible of all. The most fearsome, the cruel, yeah.
But apparently he's only cruel to women and red Martians.
On one-on-one basis, no fighting.
Right. But anyway, he calls Talhadges out, and Tars he says, hey guys, how does Tars Tarkas Jedak of Thark sound to y'all? And the council's like, yeah, sounds pretty good. And so Tars Tarkas goes into combat with Talhadges, these 2 titans that we've built up in this book, the great Jedak of the Tharks versus, our noble, honorable Talhadges, and we just, and he wins, and we go on.
And that's it! That's it!
He literally just says, in a moment it was over, Tars Tarkas won.
It was ridiculous.
No description of the battle, no Talhadges gurgling for his life, the Tharks applauding and laughing, nothing. Just, he wins and we move on. And speaking of moving on, we very quickly move on to John Carter saying, oh, hey guys, now that you've got a new Jedak, I think we should all go rescue Deja Thoris, because she's hot and I like her.
We should just go destroy Zodanga, right? You guys are into that? Right. Out of the blue?
Sure. Because then Burroughs drops in, because, they were promulgating some sort of genocide campaign against the Tharks for years and years and years, so the Tharks hate the Zodangans.
Sure.
So of course they do.
Plus, you can steal their stuff. The loot would be magnificent.
It's amazing. So now we have Tars Tarkas, new Jedak, amazing guy. We love him. He's our boy. And through his amazing leadership and diplomacy skills, which we're told he has them. We have no example of it. We're just told that he has amazing diplomacy.
It's too complicated to write good diplomacy.
Exactly. But he goes out and he unites 3 smaller tribes together with the Tharks. And then they start, it only takes them 3 days. And then they start marching to Zodanga. And also, by the way, we pick up another 50,000 Tharks in addition. So I don't know why the 2-step recruitment that Burroughs puts in here. But if we do the numbers on this, so originally he unites 3 smaller tribes together with the Tharks to make this fighting force of 100,000 before he picks up the extra 50. We earlier have been told the Tharks are about 30,000. So if we're going to unite 3 smaller tribes with the Tharks, 30,000, to get up to 100,000, these tribes aren't much smaller. Like, you basically have like 2 tribes of 25,000 and then like a 20,000. So they're all roughly equivalent size here.
No. Not in Tharkian math. Like puny 25,000.
Our 30,000 stronger. Of course, that 30,000 is multiplied because you got a John Carter in there.
That's true. He's good for what? I don't know, 5, 6, 7,000. At least.
Well, then we pick up another 50K and we reach Zodanga. And this is where it kind of goes off the rails because we have 150,000, 15-foot tall green men, and all of their, I'm assuming all of their thoats and zitadars and weaponry and all their metal clanging and whatever else outside the walls of Zodanga. Nobody sees them.
Nope. Well, the walls. The walls are 75 feet high and 50 feet thick. You'd never be able to hear or see anyone coming. I think it's a little...
There's no guards on the walls. There's no guards at the gates.
No, because the walls are so...
ships coming in and out.
Yeah, because the walls are so trusty. We don't need guards. They're 75 feet tall and 50 feet thick. You can't climb a wall. It's a wall.
Oh, this is definitely like the walls work. Trumpian math of
exactly
how to defend a city.
Exactly what I was
We'll
thinking.
build a wall. It's fine. No need to guard it.
Nope.
Well, it gets even better. So we do the I don't know, the Ringling Brothers 3 Tharks on 2 Tharks on 1 Thark. John runs up and jumps. He's over the wall. Got it. And then, thank goodness Kantos Kan, who isn't even from Zodanga and was just like a lowly dude in their air scouts, he knows how to open the great gates. The great gates of the city that they don't guard, Kantos Kan knows how to open it, and he told John Carter how to do it.
Burroughs' editor is like, wait, how do you open it? Kantos Kan told him. Well, how did he find out? It's enough. Stop.
So we open a gate, we let in some Tharks, and somehow, I think John brings in 50 originally or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow with these 50 Tharks, he's able to move, nobody sees them moving through the city. These giant 6-armed monstrosities, or I guess 4-armed, 6-limbed monstrosities walking through the city. Nobody sees them. It's dark.
They were so quiet.
So quiet. And they get to the palace. They get to the royal palace of Zodanga, and there's 2 guards there, and they take them out. And like the security of this city, they really, and we're gonna get to security and fail safes and backup plans. Like this whole society probably needs to die because they just don't think. So John gets to the royal palace, looks in the window, and now we're in chapter 25. He can walk right up to the palace because it's like this party going on, and everybody's like, we got the wall. The wall's gonna protect us, whatever.
So is everybody there?
Everybody's there.
Or are there people? Because that's what I thought when I first read it. Everybody's at the party, which seems like those crazy. 2 guards were like, we don't get to go. Like, well, somebody has to guard it. I mean, it would be dumb to have 0 guards. So
right.
So is anybody?
We don't even get a description of them getting taken out. We just get. We took out the 2 guards.
You took them out.
Yeah.
So I could see how if everybody's there, then nobody hears them in the town because everyone's at the party. But then, I mean, I'm going to jump us, but they kill everyone there, right? They kill everyone at the party, but then there's more fighting later. So everybody can't be at the party. So I'm very confused.
At least 1 million people camped out. The fighting force of 1 million is camped outside of
the walls?
Helium.
Oh.
Besieging Helium. Which
that's where they are.
A lot of
that's
people.
a lot. It's a lot.
Of people. That is twice our active army. More than twice our active army. So
maybe John Carter is equal to 500,000. So
he probably is, as we will see. Because they get through that 1 million pretty easily as well.
Just walks through punching them.
Yes. Nobody can touch him. So he's peeping in the window and he's watching this whole thing go down. Nobody sees him at the window. Nothing. No guards, nothing. And he sees, these enshrouded people standing before what's his face?
Thankosis?
Thankosis, thank you.
Yeah.
The Jedak, and John's like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I had context clues. I can't figure this out. They bring in these large trays with chains and jewels, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. It unwraps the first guy, and it's Sabthan. He's like, I don't know what's going on.
Who could be next?
Who could be next? They unwrap the second person. It's Deja Thor. So he goes, Oh, it's a marriage ceremony.
So this
Now I
marriage
get it.
ceremony, they're enshrouded and you pull the shrouds off. So is this like, could it be a surprise party? It's like a peekaboo
Yes.
marriage. Like why are they totally enshrouded?
It's the blind bag. You gotta,
Who's it
open
gonna
up.
be?
Oh, who's it gonna be? Oh.
Lucky fact number 1.
Well, we find out this marriage ceremony is quite literal because they take these chains and they lock a collar and chain around Sabthan's neck, and they're about to do it to Deja, and John's like, "No man will be chained to my Deja Thoris," and he swipes his mighty sword and breaks the chain, and they start fighting. Because
1,000 drawn swords menaced me from every quarter.
But then that 1,000 swords gets met with his 50 Tharks he let into the city. Or I guess at this point, the whole band is in.
Yeah.
Because Tartarchus comes in.
They're all out there. He's like, look, Zodanga has fallen. And he's like, look out the window.
They're like, what?
We didn't notice this. We couldn't possibly hear it over the talking of the wedding ceremony.
Yes. Of course not. Although I got to pour one out here for... Sometimes Burroughs gets a turn of phrase that I really appreciate. So they're fighting, and of course John can't kill Sabthan, but he does end up killing Thancosis, and he says, by saying, "My sword found the spot that made Sabthan Jeddak of Zodanga." So, I gotta just appreciate phraseology like that. He doesn't say, "I killed Thancosis," but "My sword found the spot that made Sabthan Jeddak of Zodanga."
I don't understand that phrase, though. The spot that made Sabthan Jeddak of Zodanga.
He stabbed Thancosis. He killed his father. So now the kid becomes Jeddak.
Oh!
You didn't get that?
No! I'm like, what spot? Does your heart make you the Jeddak? I don't know.
No, the father. He killed the father. He stabbed his father or whatever in the heart.
Found the spot.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm glad I picked that as a good sentence then. Yeah. So anyway, the Tharks bust in. Tartarchus becomes, Sauron from Lord of the Rings. Every swipe of his sword is just knocking down dozens of Zodangans. They fights up to the... We don't get it explicitly said, but we can assume that Tartarchus is the one that kills Sabthan, since John can't. And when the fighting is all over, Sabthan is dead. And the fighting clears. They've killed everyone, and John, my first thought was for Cantos Can.
Gotta find him.
Really? I don't know, John. You just fought for Deja Thoris, your beautiful bride who's standing there, and you don't turn to kiss her, you don't reassure her, you don't wrap your arms around your tender Martian princess. You go, "Oh man, where's Cantos Can?
Gotta find my buddy. Here, take care of that guy."
Yeah, exactly. So conveniently, Cantos Can is in the dungeon of the palace. It's, I guess the Zodangans don't have for-profit prison system because Cantos Can is right there, and we find him. He gets up. Fortunately, there's nobody down in the basement, and now Deja is free, and now she is free to listen to whatever John Carter may say.
I love Deja's expression here. I wonder if this is why certain people find these books so alluring. She's like, was there ever such a man? I know that Barsoom has never before seen your like. Can it be that all Earthmen are as you? Yes.
I will attest that yes, we are.
Oh my God. Are all Earthmen like this?
I mean, would you not want to move to Mars if you were a young some kid in the early 1900s or whatever? I need to move to Mars. I could be a king.
A pubescent teen,
yes, a beautiful naked princess who's just fawning over me.
You're amazing. And you know what? He still has his okay, I'll say that for the next chapter.
Okay. All right. Okay. Which you roll into. So now, the end of 25, they're officially engaged because he spoke and she listened. And
how
so
it works.
now we've got chapter 26. I guess Tars Tarkas's great diplomacy falls apart because the other tribes start looting Zodanga, and John and his boys, they grab the Zodangan fleet, and they take off, and they start heading to Helium. And, I got a note that I'm really glad that these Zodangan ships have like a full complement of helium colors, because they said every ship we strung the helium banners. Like, why do you have
them?
banners? Why do you have those? So at least the Heliumites, when these other ships show up, they go, oh hey, they're flying our colors. I guess they're on our side. So
Maybe they just strung a bunch of silks together. We're like, we need the red, the green, and the orange silks.
that could be. I don't know. But yeah, they get there. And so the Helium forces see that the John and his guys start shooting at the Zodangans. So they fly up and they're like, oh, we need to help those guys. And they battle and they crush the Zodangans. And, I got to also say that I love the fact that Burroughs here, all this death and destruction, we've slaughtered all the Zodangans in their city and whatnot. But in order for a Zodangan ship to surrender, the captain has to jump off and kill himself by plunging to the surface of Mars. And, John laments the, quote, useless sacrifice in the surrender of these brave ship captains. So, I don't know what Burroughs is trying to tell us here, but...
It's like there can be no, like all of your military fighting minds are all gone. So if you thought they were going to come back and like, once you're wrecked, you're wrecked.
Right.
There's nobody to rebuild your army, I guess.
True. There's no captain going down with the ship here. It's the ship stays up without the captain.
It goes down, just plunges. Good Lord.
Kind of jarring to me, but apparently this air battle was completely divorced from whatever was happening at Helium. And I don't know how this occurs, because the million people of the Zodangan army that is waiting outside of Helium, they saw none of this. Because John and the Tharks, they land like a mile away and then sneak up on the encamped army somehow. And so now,
maybe there's so many battles and so much infighting that they're just used to, like, oh, there's a battle, there's a war or something.
Yeah, they do not have the air-land battle combined arms concept on Mars.
No.
They're just like, oh, the Navy's doing whatever. We're just going to hang out here. Anyway, yeah, they need a combined force commander that oversees both forces, I guess. But
they don't have it.
But then the Heliumites, so John and the Tharks, they start fighting with the Zodangans. And, Mayor, there was some tension. It looked bleak. It looked bleak for a sentence. And then the Heliumite reinforcements come in. And we crush the Zodangans. John was concerned for a minute, but we resolve it right away in the next sentence. It's all good. Zodanga's destroyed. And we roll into the city. We finally get to meet Dad and Grandfather. John sees Tardis Moors, the Jeddak of Helium, coming down, and
he's struck by his handsomeness.
Oh yes, such a picture of manhood. Which, considering he's completely naked, I don't know what John was struck by here. And
superbly muscled.
Superb. For this old he's the grandfather. Remember, he's the old guy.
Yeah.
But they don't age on this planet, on Mars. And suddenly, Tardis Moors, he receives Tars Tarkas and his Jeds, and now they're like the best of friends. John has gotten rid of centuries of enmity between the red and green Martians. He's solved all their problems in a month and a half or whatever it's been. John Carter, he's our guy.
He calls him my son right away.
Right. Well, he's going to marry Deja. I mean, heck, it's going to be. We roll into 27, and this is one of those things that Burroughs just kind of whips off, doesn't really put much thought into, but I put way too much thought into. Tardis Moors and his Jeds and all the nobility of Helium, they go off to Thark to hang out for 3 weeks before they come back and get John and Deja married. So they went. So helium, this supposedly advanced civilization, flower of Martian culture or whatever, etc., etc. They go off to Thark to then be feasted by the Green Martians. Did Burroughs forget that Thark is a dead and deserted city, also populated by white apes? So TARDIS Moors and them, they're just going to these empty buildings, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool. We're gonna hang out here for 3 weeks."
Like, we're already here. You guys want to stay at our place? No, come over to our house. But you guys don't have any food, or there's squatters in your house.
You're squatting in. Yeah, no, come on.
Come over to our place.
Yeah, we'll leave your mansion and come to my shack down by the river, and you can we'll hang out for a couple of weeks. It'll be great. So that's how you really know the friendship is real here. So anyway, I get this picture of TARDIS Moors and Moors Kajak and all the heliumites just kind of hanging around on the floor on the silks of the Tharks getting high or something. And this place is, you got a great place here, Tarkis. It's great.
It's cool. I love your string of black lights.
Yeah.
It's great.
Exactly. We get those 3 weeks end. John and Deja get married, and then 9 years pass. This is, Gaius Baltar putting his head on the desk in BSG, and boom, 9 years later, we're here. Deja's laid an egg. It's up on the roof for the past 5 years, being guarded by the guards. John's done many amazing things. We're not going to talk about him, but lots of fighting, lots of, he's just been all over Mars for the past 9 years.
And it's been 9 years, and the people never seem to tire of heaping honors upon him.
Yes.
Not a single day passed. Not one day in 9 years that did not bring some new proof of their love for the princess.
But it gets so blasé and so passé, he doesn't even bother mentioning. He's like, you know what? They just loved me for 9 years. Ugh, so boring.
Yeah. Imagine everything that you could possibly imagine, like everything wonderful. That's what happened for 9 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they have a freaking golden incubator on the roof for their snow white egg.
Oh.
Why do red Martians lay snow white eggs?
Birds lay white eggs. Chickens lay white eggs.
And blue eggs and all kinds of color eggs.
Speckled eggs. And alligators lay white eggs. They're green.
Well, fine.
Ducks are white and they lay brown eggs.
Fine.
So then we have tragedy after these 9 years. We have gotten word that the atmosphere plant keeper, he hasn't checked in for 2 days, and they're worried.
Who did it?
We don't know.
No mention of who could have even possibly done it.
And they've already gone and checked for the assistant keeper. He too is dead.
Who would do that?
They never thought of this in thousands of years. They never thought, maybe we should build an automated system. Maybe we should train a few more keepers. Maybe we should let more than one guy live in the atmosphere factory. No,
because,
one backup.
Who would destroy the entire atmosphere of a planet? Right?
Sarkoja, I don't know.
It would have to be...
I don't know. Who would do it? And why would they wait 10 years? But anyway. So they get word, and the helium nobles, they have to decide what to do. And they decide, we're not going to do anything.
Die with honor.
Live life nobly for these next
3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
Nobody's going to notice. So for the first 2 days, I guess that's what we do. We just keep on keeping on. And suddenly people start dying in the streets.
Everybody's getting asphyxiated.
Yes, which is a terrible way to die, I think. I mean, maybe.
Of course.
You pass out first.
After gasping, probably.
Probably. And then suddenly it afflicts Deja. I guess she needs more air than John. I don't know.
She's so delicate and fragile.
Yeah, she is. While also being a warrior and perfect symbolism of everything a Thark.
Of course.
A red Martian should be. So she starts dying, and John kisses her, and suddenly the fighting blood of Virginia rises in his veins, and he remembers, oh, wait, I know how to get into the atmosphere factory.
Duh.
Like, how would he have forgotten that he has been in there? Literally, only 2 people ever go into this thing, the keeper and the assistant keeper. When the guy showed up and said, hey, the keeper hasn't checked in 2 days, no, John never said, oh, wait, I've been there.
I've been there.
I remember that guy. Yeah, with the big medallion.
I got the code,
me.
actually. Yeah, he tried to kill me.
In 2 days, John never, not a thought of it. Just, he's like, whatever. I don't know, man. I guess we're going to all die. I mean, John Carter, this grand warrior, doesn't let anything stop him. Run, smashes through walls and kills war hoons with his bare hands. He's just like, we have 3 days of air left. And he goes, oh, okay, I guess we're dead. Nothing I can do. Literally nothing I can do.
I'm just going to stare at my egg until my dying moment. I almost couldn't, it was so fun to read this part, but I almost couldn't handle it. You can probably hear it in my voice, especially the fighting blood of Virginia.
Well, with bereft of this fighting blood of Virginia, John is nobody. And, I don't want to throw shade or anything, but the fighting blood of Virginia didn't really help the Confederacy much. Ooh, sorry. Kind of need industrial productivity and industrial production and other things in addition to that fighting blood there, John. But he does remember the tones. He says, give me your fastest flyer. I can yet save Mars. And he races out there and he finds, I feel bad for these dudes. There are crews of guys with drills, desperately trying to get through the walls of this thing.
Barely even scratch it.
They don't even scratch it. For 2 days they've been at this. I guess walls do work occasionally because they can't get through this thing. And John says, wait, I can open the door. He opens it, throws the thought waves at the door. It opens. He begins crawling and he passes out and wakes up at the start of chapter 28 in Arizona.
In the cave in Arizona with a dead lady.
He's dressed. He's got his clothes on. Yes, there's a dead, desiccated corpse lady there's skeletons
that are tied to her.
And she can rattle them with the strap. Very bizarre. Were those skeletons there when John showed up? Why is John not strung up as a skeleton if he's been laying in this cave for 10 years? Has he been laying in the cave for 10 years? Has time passed at an equal rate as on Mars?
Whoever put him in the cave and is watching him, is that their alarm system that, okay, when this guy comes to, he's going to wake up. He's going to see the old lady. He's going to shake her. Then she's going to shake all the rattly bones. Then we'll know that he woke up.
How did his body survive for 10 years without food or water or anything? He's got to smell really bad.
Terrible.
Waking up after 10 years. But he walks out. He sees the constellations are different because he's on Earth. He sees the terrain is different. He has no idea if he was successful. For 10 years, he's been trying to get back to Mars. He just imagines his son and his beautiful wife there.
Can you tell if an egg is a boy or a girl? How's he know he didn't have a daughter?
No, that's a good question. Maybe they gotta have X-ray or egg electrosound or something. I don't know. You can see through it. And he just kind of casually, that mine that we found, yeah, I got rich off it, but I don't
Fabulously
care.
wealthy.
Fabulously wealthy. But then nothing compares to my Daejathorus. And that's the end of the book. We leave off with
that's it.
Sort of an opening for the sequel, for a sequel. He kind of says, maybe I'd see him again. I don't know.
I believe they're waiting there for me, and something tells me that I shall soon know. He runs into the wall to knock himself unconscious. He's like, worked the first time. His bash his face against the wall.
Lots of questions. How did he get there? Did the woman send him there? Did he? I don't even know.
In 20 years, right?
At this point, it's been 20 years. And now John Carter is, to our knowledge, if we remember the foreword, lying in the snow dead, raising his arms to Mars.
Dead. Yeah.
Dead.
He
buried himself in the tomb that can only be opened from the inside and has air holes in it. So
It took him 20 years to be like, oh, wait, I remember how to get back to Mars.
I just have to kill myself. Suicide is not the answer, folks. Please call the National Suicide Hotline.
It won't get you to Mars or anywhere else.
Not get you to Mars. So yeah, so that finishes up A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Ooh. What a
book.
There's a lot. I don't know. Is there a lot to say? We're going to have to find out in our next episode when we...
You will have to tune in to our wrap-up episode next week. And
how much is there to say?
I think there's a lot to discuss in this book and kind of dig into. You said this is kind of your first delving into not only sci-fi but pulp sci-fi at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I think I said the only other sci-fi that I can recall is The Star's My Destination, or Tiger, depending on which version you have. Who's the author of that? I forget. Do you remember?
Starts with a B. No, not Burroughs. Let's see.
I forget. And it's on my bookshelf, but I can't find it because my bookshelf is alphabetized by author names.
Bester. Alfred Bester.
Alfred Bester. Yeah. It's a great book.
Yes, very good book. Recommend reading that. Not in the public domain, unfortunately. So we won't be reading it anytime soon.
No, and that
podcast lasts 20 or 30 years.
And that book has a lot of visuals to the text that I don't know if a simple read aloud, if not being able to see the pages, would do it the same kind of justice. Do you remember?
I did not read an illustrated version. I read a text version on my Kindle.
Oh, maybe it didn't have
It didn't have any pictures.
No, this just had like the text was the actual.
Oh.
Text was weird in some parts.
I thought it was a bad Kindle version because it was like there'd be asterisks in weird places, and so I thought it was like a corrupted file. Okay.
No,
I guess that was intentional.
Oh, you know what was not intentional was pulling my headphones out because now I can't hear you.
So I can just say whatever I want at this point.
There it is.
That's great.
There we go. Yeah, no, and I don't know about asterisks, but like. Hold on. This is pertinent.
This is also yet another reason why you should subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Link is in the show notes.
See, it's good to have an alphabetized shelf.
Right, because you're going to get a visual here. And if you're just on, again, if you're on our podcast, we love you, podcast listeners, but you're not going to get the extra flavor of seeing exactly what Mayor's pointing out.
So like.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that was rendered on the Kindle version. I'll have to look.
Let's see. It's stuff like this.
Oh, yep, definitely. Yeah. Okay, to see the asterisks?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, see? So if you want to know what we're talking about, please check out our YouTube channel. Video will be up shortly. The audio obviously comes out a little bit quicker than the video. You could also be watching us live if you were following us along on Twitter and seeing our announcements when we go live on Twitch, twitch.tv/CYSTpod. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/CYSTpod. You can also get us on Facebook and Instagram at CYSTpod. And YouTube, unfortunately, we are not quite at youtube.com/CYSTpod yet because we need 100 subscribers in order to get a custom URL on YouTube. So please, even if you don't like us, just subscribe to our YouTube, because eventually then we'll have a URL that makes sense. Until then, check the show notes for the very long string of characters which comprises our YouTube channel URL.
Only you can save our URL. So
exactly.
Smash that subscribe button.
Exactly. Ring the little bell for notifications when a new video goes up.
Ding-a-ling.
All right, so that completes Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Anything you want to say before our wrap next week? Or do you want to save thoughts for the wrap?
I'm going to save my thoughts for the wrap.
All right. I think
wrap
that's
it.
A good tease for next week's episodes. Make sure you tune in and get the full thoughts on the entire book. So until next time, this has been Classics You Slept Through. Get involved, folks. Attend a PTA meeting. Go to your local school board. See what the kids are learning. An involved parent is a good parent, and it makes better students. And better students make a better society. And a better society won't turn out like Mars, because we won't have just one person running the atmosphere factory. That's civics. That's civics 101.
The more you know.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. See you
Peace.
next time.